Hi ladies, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a pretty exciting one because Makeup Forever was kind enough to send me this lovely box of goodies. When I got this in the mail, I almost shit myself. I was like, what? Makeup Forever is sending me things? What? Do they know who I am? I had like a little conniption real quick. But yeah, in this lovely box, you slide it out and it is the new Ultra HD foundation. So in here, you flap it open and it just came with 3 different colors of the foundation. The one I actually used for the review is out at the moment. And then it also came with a little pamphlet kind of describing the foundation and everything. And then they were also kind enough to send me 4 of their Step 1 primers. So they sent me the Nourishing one, which I used in the video, the Smoothing one, which I also used in the demo, the hydrating one, and then the mattifying one. So just a little rundown on the new Makeup Forever Ultra HD foundation. Obviously, it is kind of an upgrade from their original HD foundation, which I kind of liked. I didn't love that foundation, but I did like it. I own it, actually. I'm not sure, though, if they discontinued that one and brought this one in, or if they're both going to be sold. I'm pretty sure they discontinued the other one, though, which I feel like a lot of people loved it, so I hope you guys like this one as well, because that would suck if you loved the original and you don't like this one. That would really suck. Okay, so in this little pamphlet they sent me, it says it only takes 2 pumps of Ultra HD liquid foundation to cover the face. Apply product starting at the center of the face and stretching outward. For buildable coverage, flat foundation brush, tap to build coverage where needed, then stretch outward, press and roll a sponge to build coverage where needed. Completely invisible under the latest ultra magnified resolution, these revolutionary foundation formulas look completely natural on camera and to the naked eye. The liquid version is available in 40 different shades, and they also have a stick version, which I've heard great things about as well, and that's available in 15 different shades. Yeah, so that's nearly double the original HD foundation shade range, which is awesome because that one originally had 1,000,001 shades anyway, so now we have even more for even more skin tones, which I love. And the liquid version is $43 US at Sephora or Makeup Forever boutiques or makeupforever.com, and then so both of them are $43, the stick and the liquid. So yeah, these are all of the shades. That's like a lot of freaking shades. And they have all different kinds of undertones, yellow, pink, neutral, just a whole bunch of different undertones. So that's a little rundown on the foundation. It doesn't give me a price for the primers, but I think they're around like $30. So yeah, how do I feel about this foundation? I like it. I don't love it. It's not my favorite foundation ever, but I do really, really like it and I will continue to use it. I would say it gives you a medium to buildable coverage. It starts off on the lower end of medium, like more light medium, and then it builds up to like a medium to full, if you know what I mean. It is not completely full coverage, at least to me, because I do have a lot of not scarring, but a lot of redness and imperfections. And for me, it could cover a little bit more, but I also have texture on my skin, so that could be the reason. Like, you can't cover up texture, you can only cover up like colors and stuff. So that might be the reason I want a little bit more of a coverage, but I will say that on camera it looks absolutely gorgeous. In person it doesn't look as gorgeous as on camera, but it still looks really pretty in person. It dries down to like a satin finish. It's not really shiny at all, but it's definitely not a matte finish. I've heard other people say that it's like really, really shiny, but I don't think so at all. It really sets into the skin. It absorbs really quickly into your skin, which is something I like about it. And like when you touch it, it's not completely dry after you put it on, but it's not like tacky or too wet or anything. If you have oily skin, I would probably set this with a powder. For me, I have like normal combo, like I do. Now that it's starting to get a little bit colder, my skin is starting to dry up a little bit, so I would just I just powdered where I have concealer on and not really anywhere else. If I wanted it to last a little bit longer, I would probably set it with a powder all over my face. But yeah, I think that people with oily skin might need to take a little bit of extra precautions, maybe like this mattifying primer first and a powder after. But I feel like every different skin type can wear this from oily to dry, because it's not very, like, it's not going to cling to any dry patches. At least for me, it hasn't. It's not going to cling to any dry patches or anything. It does feel kind of moisturizing on the skin, but it is not like a dewy, really oily, wet consistency either, which I feel like the original Makeup Forever HD was more for dry skin, and oily people couldn't really wear it because it was a little bit too dewy. So I think this is an improvement from that one, because I feel like all skin types can wear this foundation as opposed to the other one. Only like normal to dry could wear that. But yeah, I don't want to ramble on too much. I feel like I've given you a really good rundown on how I like the foundation. I do like it. It isn't my favorite. I think it's a really great one. For me, I would like a little bit more coverage, but I feel like if I was having a better skin day, like if my skin was in a better state, I would absolutely love it and it'd be perfect coverage for me. But right now, where my skin is at right now, I would like a little bit more. But yeah, now we're going to jump into the demo. I'm going to show you how I apply this foundation, how it looks. I applied it on just one half of my face so you could see the difference in coverage and all that jazz. So without any further ado, let's just jump right into the demo. Hi guys, so I'm going to start with the Makeup Forever Step 1 primers. I'm going to be using 2 of them because in the little pamphlet that the press kit came with, it kind of told you to kind of target your skin needs with different primers. So don't just use one all over the face, or some of them you can use all over the face. But basically it's like use them in combination with each other so that it gives you like the most flawless look. So I'm going to start with the Step 1 Nourishing Primer. This is in the like white packaging, and this is supposed to just nourish the entire skin. So I'm going to use this actually all over my face. So I'm going to start and work this like on the outer portions of my face and then work it in. And it smells really, really good too. It smells like a skincare product. It feels like a skincare product as well. And it does feel really nourishing on the skin. It's a little bit tacky. It's not like silicone-y at all. And next I'm going to take the Smoothing Primer. This is in the gray, the dark gray tube. And this is going to help with filling pores and smoothing out any texture on my skin, which I do have some trouble with. So we're going to take this mainly on the center of the face because that's where my pores are the largest. And then also like over here I have some texture and stuff. So I'm going to start where the pores are the largest and kind of press it, and then go up here and then take whatever's left and put it wherever I have that texture on my skin. And in terms of like the review of the foundation, I always use a primer anyway, so I'm not going to kind of take away any steps that I would normally put in my foundation routine, because if I always use a primer, then not using a primer is kind of going to skew my view on the product, so I'm not going to take out my primer. Okay, so now we're going to start with the foundation. The color I'm taking is 125 or Y315. It says 125 equals Y315. I think the Y315 is like the new shades, and the 125 is like the old number for the original HD foundation. I'm pretty sure that's what it means. But either way, it has both of those numbers on the bottom. So 125 or Y315. They sent me 3 colors, but this is the one I'm using because this is the one I used yesterday and it seemed like a perfect match. So I'm going to use it again. I'm going to shake it up really well first because that's what it says to do. And I like to do this with all of my foundations anyway. And then I'm just going to take maybe 3 pumps on the back of my hand. Because, I don't know, I feel like I have a big face. Everybody else is like, oh, you just need 1 pump. I could never use 1 pump of foundation. That's like unheard of for me. I'm just going to take my finger and start like dotting it all over my face. Maybe I'll just do half of my face now so we can see how well it covers up like redness and all that first, and then we'll see the other side. And I'm going to take this really dirty beauty blender that I needed to clean, but I was too lazy, and I'm just going to blend this out. I always use a beauty blender for my foundation. I have been using the F80 from Sigma more recently because they sent me a new one, and I was like, oh, I used to really like this, so I started using it again, but for the most part, I use a beauty blender to put on my foundation, so that's what we're doing today. It feels really nice on the skin. It's very easy to blend out. It is, I would say, like a medium coverage because, as you can see, it's covering a lot of my redness and imperfections, but if you look up close, there is still redness peeking through and you can still see a lot of my imperfections. So this is something that I would definitely put on 2 layers just because I do like a full coverage, but if you like a more medium or like a lighter weight natural coverage, you have that option with this as well, which I like. So yeah, that's what it looks like as compared to no foundation with 1 layer of foundation. Now let's go in with a second layer just on this side to see how well it builds up. Well, it's building up really nicely and it's not like getting cakey or anything, so it's definitely buildable. And as you can see, it did cover more of my imperfections. It's more full coverage. It's not completely full coverage right now. I would like a little bit more coverage, but it did build up some coverage. Like you can still see the freckles on my nose, which I don't mind so much. It's just like the imperfections down here that I would like to cover a little more. On camera, this looks absolutely beautiful. It honestly looks more pretty on camera than it does in person, but it does still look pretty in person. So yeah, this is with 2 layers as compared to my face without anything on, and I would say it gives a really good coverage. It's not completely full, and ooh, there's a hair in my face. It's not completely full, but it definitely gives a really, really nice coverage, and I feel like once I do the rest of my makeup and put on my concealer and all that, it will look really, really flawless. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and do this half of my face and I'll be right back. Okay guys, this is what it looks like with the foundation all over my face. Honestly, I really love the way it looks. Sorry for the honking outside. Are you kidding? When I look at it up close in the mirror, it doesn't look cakey at all. You can definitely tell I'm wearing foundation, especially since I did 2 layers of it, but it doesn't look cakey. It's sinking really nicely into the skin. I have this weird habit of always blending while I talk about something. So I'm just going to keep blending my makeup. But in terms of the primer, the smoothing primer was pretty smoothing. It didn't fill in my pores completely, but quite honestly, I have really, really big pores and no primer ever fills them in completely. But overall, like when I look at myself in the viewfinder, I think my face looks flawless and I haven't even put concealer on. Yeah, I really like the way it looks. It looks really nice and I wouldn't say natural. I guess it looks really natural on camera. In person, you can tell I'm wearing foundation, but it doesn't look cakey or anything. It sinks into my skin nicely and I do like it. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest of my makeup and I'll be right back. Okay guys, the rest of my makeup is on. The concealer and everything and the blush and the bronzer and all that, it went on really, really smoothly on top of the foundation. I did set just where I put my concealer, so like my T-zone and under my eyes and stuff with the Anastasia Beverly Hills Contour Kit, as I usually would. So yeah, this is what the foundation looks like with everything on. So I'm gonna just keep this on my face. I've got to film another video, my September favorites, and I've got to edit some stuff and do some other things, and I will be back in a few hours to show you guys how it wore throughout the day because I do want to test the longevity of this stuff. So I will be back in a minute. Hi guys, I'm back. So it is about 8 hours since I last checked in, and when I'm looking at myself on camera, my makeup looks pretty damn good as compared to 8 hours ago, but in person it is definitely wearing off. Around my nose, under my eyes looks kind of creasy. I'm definitely oily. My chin is kind of wearing off. I definitely could blot and touch up with some powder. Normally, if this was like me wearing it outside, I totally would touch up with like some blotting paper and some powder. But as I'm looking at myself on camera, like, it doesn't look like anything went wrong with my makeup. I honestly love the way it looks on camera. Sorry, I'm looking like in the viewfinder at myself. In the viewfinder, my makeup looks perfect, to me at least, right now. I'll see what it looks like when I like transfer this onto my computer and everything. But to me right now, it looks beautiful on camera. And I guess that goes well with it being an HD foundation because it is meant to be photographed and taken like on a camera and stuff. So it definitely holds up to being a great HD foundation for photography and stuff. But yeah, in person it definitely is kind of wearing off. I think if I set it with a powder at the beginning of the day and maybe did a touch-up maybe halfway through the day, it would be perfect, which I personally don't mind having to touch up halfway through the day because I feel like no matter what foundation, by the end of the day it's not going to look the same. Some of it's going to be wearing off somewhere, especially for me because I am like a face toucher. And actually this side of my face, Greg, my boyfriend's here, and he licked my face to be an asshole. I was like, oh my god, babe, I'm doing a foundation review, like you're gonna mess it up. So if my highlight is not as on fleek on this side as it is on this side, then you can blame my boyfriend. I don't know if that would happen on a regular basis, probably, because he likes to do that stuff, but yeah, I definitely would have to touch up my makeup on a daily basis or on a normal basis anyway, so that really doesn't bother me. It isn't completely off my face. It definitely could use like a blot and a touch up. It's really just like around my nose, which is where I get the most oily anyway, and on my chin because I usually like rest my hand on my chin a lot. And a little bit around here. I was wearing like a neck pillow before. Why would I do that on a day that I'm doing a foundation review? I don't know, but I was wearing a neck pillow, so it is not really worn off down here actually. But yeah, it is a little bit worn off, but not anything too bad. But yeah, in conclusion, the Makeup Forever Ultra HD, I definitely like it a lot better than the original HD foundation. I think the coverage is a lot better. I think the finish is a lot nicer. It's not as dewy and slick as the original. I think the longevity of this foundation is a lot better than the original as well. I really like it, and I will definitely be using it and testing it more. And hopefully, if I like it enough, you'll see it in an upcoming favorites video, or I'll let you know how I feel about it in upcoming tutorials and stuff. But for right now, I really like this foundation, and I definitely recommend it to people with normal to dry skin. I don't know if I would necessarily recommend it to people with oily skin, but I do think it's a great foundation. But yeah, that's going to be it for this review. I hope you enjoyed it and found it helpful. Make sure you give it a thumbs up if you did, and make sure to subscribe to my channel if you're not already so that you can stay in touch with me and all of my videos. Let me know in the comments down below what other foundations you'd like me to review, because if I have some of them, or if I'm looking to purchase some of them, I will definitely review them for you, because I definitely want to get back into reviewing products for you guys. But yeah, I love you all so much. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.